Have you ever found yourself almost purposely putting yourself in situations to get you in the state of mind to write?
Yes and no.
Like,
Never anything.
I know it's going to go terrible with this guy. Let's do it anyway. I'm going to get a great song out of it.
Oh my God.
Hello, people of the world. We're back here in the South Austin Music Acoustic A-Room with another episode of Sam Sessions. To my left here, I have Mandy Rowden of Girl Guitar. We're a big fan of Mandy here at South Austin Music. Mandy, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing all right. You know, like everyone else, I'm just dealing with this COVID stuff that's going on. And,
it's been kind of a hassle.
It's a slight hassle. Yeah. I'm recovering personally. And,
I saw you were talking about doing a studio session with the social distancing. Where was that at? I believe it's called a ranch.
Oh, it's Six String Ranch.
Six String Ranch, right.
Yeah, I recorded an entire album early in the pandemic in that studio with one other person, distanced, masked. We followed all the protocol and managed to get it done. It was, obviously not the ideal way to work.
Right. Did you do your vocals with the mask on?
No.
Okay.
But, in a whole separate room from everybody else.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I can't imagine how that was. I'm sure it was a pretty interesting experience, to say the least.
Yeah, it was an experience. That's a good way of putting it. I don't want to do it that way anymore, but I'm proud of our resourcefulness. We pulled it off,
Absolutely. Yeah, no kidding. So, Mandy, when did you get the idea for Girl Guitar?
This is a fun story for me. It was sort of an accident, honestly. In fact, years ago, Austin Woman magazine did an article on me where the headline read, The Accidental Entrepreneur. That's how bad it was. But it was Christmas of 2006, and I had just moved back to Austin from New York. And I was broke out of my mind, and my cell phone got cut off, and I couldn't get a job, and everything sucked. And so I decided to throw together this women's guitar class, thinking, this will be a fun way to wrangle up some cash and pay my phone bill. That's all I was thinking.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Pulled enough people together, paid my phone bill, had a wonderful time, and continued. And it's now 15 years later, and it's
still trucking. It's
going
doing
strong.
Great. Yeah.
Paid my phone bill. 15 years.
There you go. How did you go about getting some of those first customers?
It's funny because it was the MySpace days.
Okay.
So if I'd have known where this was headed, I would have put any thought into it whatsoever and come up with probably a much better name than what I did. But Girl Guitar popped into my head. I made a MySpace page for it. I started friend requesting women in Austin who had listed music as an interest. I didn't have a job. I was just click, click, click all day long. And then I managed to wrangle people that way. Okay. So it was early social media.
Yeah. You kind of caught the groove of how to work social media back in its earliest stages.
Yeah, I mean, it was really handy because it was free and people were excited about it at the time still. Social media was still fun back then.
Yeah, right? No kidding. Maybe we'll have to get some advice from you to get some subscribers for our show here.
Well, it's a different world now, obviously.
No kidding. So you talked about, wanting to be able to pay your phone bill, of course. What other goals did you have in mind when you started Girl Guitar?
Honestly, that was it. That was all I was thinking about, but I have always, kind of goes without saying, I've always enjoyed playing music with people, and the social aspect of it became a big part of it. We weren't just about playing music, we were also about this community and this support network, and so somebody showed up that first week with a bottle of wine, and that became a big part of it. We would share some wine, we'd get to laughing, we'd have a great old time, and a lot of friendships grew out of it. People I'm still close friends with now, I met in those early classes, and so I guess that would be a goal too, is just have the best time possible and
build relationships.
Meet as many people as possible. So, I did a lot of that.
Absolutely. How did you end up getting Girl Guitar involved with South Austin music?
Well, I've lived in this neighborhood forever and have been in and out of this store for years on end. And so, over the years, Billy has donated different things to help us out and been just super supportive of us. And so recently I was in need of some lesson space because we're kind of maxed out at the space that I'm using already. And so we started teaching lessons here in the a couple of days a week, and so it's still in the early phases of that, but it's a pretty cool fit as far as I can tell so far, and I hope it goes.
Oh, from what I
grows.
understand, it's been going amazing. Yeah,
Good.
we've really appreciated you having you in here. And so you talked about wanting to have kind of just a good atmosphere and relationships with all your customers. Do you see similarities between Girl Guitar as far as that goes, as well as South Austin Music?
I think so. I mean, I think most of us can probably agree that music is a lot more than just music. It's community. And, we see that here at the store. We see that going on at Girl Guitar. So, yeah, I think, like, we're doing the same thing in different ways.
Right.
Because I haven't heard y'all's take on all of this, but I imagine it's about a lot more than just selling guitars and strings and cables and stuff. It's
Absolutely.
the relationships that are happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of what we've been exploring back here doing these interviews is a lot of the people that come in have just, been longtime customers and people that we built relationships with. So it's been a lot of fun being able to do that. Is Girl Guitar centric? Is there anything that the viewers might not know that they should know?
Well, I mean, reasonably, there could be people watching this who don't know what Girl Guitar is. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, at the heart of it all, it's a women's guitar school based here in South Austin. But there's so much more going on with it. We now, thanks to COVID, have classes on Zoom. So our community is like really far reaching now. We also have classes going on in San Marcos and in Kerrville. Over the years, we've had them in LA and in Nashville and all over the place. So it's constantly kind of evolving in that way. But yeah, it's just a really neat community for anybody from picking up your first guitar for the first time and learning how to tune it through playing in bands and writing songs and booking gigs and all the resources that entails. It's just a big central kind of resource and community for women and teenage girls who want to play music.
Absolutely. And so how long have you been playing guitar yourself?
Let's see, 25 years, I guess, give or take.
And you started Girl Guitar about 15 years ago?
Coming up on 15, yeah.
That's cool. So you were playing guitar for about 10 years before you started, and you kind of wanted to get into it because, like you said, accidental entrepreneurship. Yeah. It's an interesting way of looking at it. There was nothing else behind it that kind of made you want to like get involved with the community more?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was already playing music around Austin. I'd been teaching violin and piano for a long time at that point, so it wasn't all brand new to me. I hadn't taught guitar classes in this way, so that was brand new. But yeah, I was just looking for ways to keep getting involved, like I said, meeting people, having a good time, and to, be able to continue making a living in music.
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
Obviously a pretty big part of it. I was slinging hippie chicks at Shady Grove there, my last straight job, and Girl Guitar allowed me to get out of that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's kind of the dream to not have to have the day job when you're also a musician, right?
Yeah.
Are there any stories that stuck with you that you have with specific students?
God, there's a million of them. I mean, this has been my life for 15 years. I could tell all kinds of stories, but one of my current favorite little scenarios is that about 10 years ago, I was teaching a band of teenage girls, and I had these two sisters that were like, 12 and 14 or something, playing guitar and bass in the band, and they were super fun, and we all got really close. I got to know the family, and then, things changed, and they kind of moved on with their lives, and so did I, and I lost touch with them for a while, but currently now, both of the girls are they've rejoined. They're in my acoustic classes, and then starting tonight, their mom is joining too.
No
so
kidding.
Now it's really cool. We've gone from having like the kids doing their kid thing now to like the entire family. I'm trying to rope grandma in at this point too. It's like just to have them all in there making music together. I love watching that kind of thing, to see people evolve with music and like let it be part of their lives as they go along. I don't know if that's the sort of story you're looking at.
No, yeah, absolutely. Heartwarming, funny, any of them. We take it all. What's the youngest student you've ever had?
Well, Girl Guitar only goes as young as 11 right now, but in my time, my God, I've done all kinds of crazy stuff. I did actually teach a camp for 3 to 5 year olds once.
Wow.
So we called it Little Rockers, and it was absolute chaos.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pretty sure none of them ever really played their instruments.
I was gonna ask. Musicians tend to have a certain way about them. I wonder how they differed, how those 3-year-olds differed from other 3-year-olds who weren't necessarily musically inclined.
Oh God, well. It's my kind of idealistic thinking that all kids are musical,
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, kids, there's a pretty wide range of focus and, maybe like actual skill. It's hard to tell at that age, but they all get pretty pumped up about music, so we did a lot of like singing and clapping and making eighth notes out of Play-Doh and things like this, but like there were no... I don't know, like Mozart's in the crowd.
Right. That's such a cool way to combine the two worlds, Play-Doh and music.
Yeah.
That's a fun way of doing it.
You got to keep their attention somehow, right?
Absolutely. So you've been a musician for about 25 years, you said.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing music since I was 6. I started violin lessons as a little kid, so I've been doing something my whole life.
What are some of the highest highs you've had as a musician in your time?
That's a great question. I have a handful of little accolades that you're supposed to throw around, like being nominated for Entertainer of the Year and the Nashville's Josie Music Awards. My first record that I made in Austin was voted number 2 album of the year in the Austin Chronicle music poll. So I have some things like that, and that's definitely cool. I'm proud of it. But to me, like, the highs are just anytime I get to play music with people, anytime I get to go somewhere with my band and my friends show up and we share this stuff, or anytime I get to see my students have a similar experience. Those are the things that really give me my jollies. Yeah. All the little award show kind of stuff. It's fun and it's necessary for kind of like climbing the ladder career-wise, but that's not the good stuff in my experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Your band, how long have you been playing with them for?
That's a great question. It changes all the time. Yeah, I mean, I had a solid group of dudes I was playing with up until kind of around the time the pandemic hit, and then they'll sort of disperse, and I've thrown together some other iterations of it lately just so we can play. But yeah, it's all kind of a big question mark. Right. Like a lot of us with our music during COVID.
Of course, of course. Was there a specific genre you tried to stick with when you were playing with the band?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much whatever you call folk rock. I guess we're Americana. That's the type of music I write. And, I play, I sort of alternate between acoustic and electric, but it seems like I can't get away from really having like a good rock and roll guitar tone. So we're definitely on the rock side of things.
So how much time would you say you spend writing music? Let's say in a week's time. I'm
one of these phasey people. I hope someday before I die, I'm in some kind of writing routine where there's like regularity going on. But
it's whatever works though.
Yeah, that has not been my experience. So I'm jealous of those people who do that. But I tend to write a lot and then not at all, and then a lot and then not at all.
I find often a lot of musicians, they'll write when something's going on in their lives that kind of inspires them to. Is that how it works for you as well?
Oh, totally. Writing for me has always been a great way to deal with the bad stuff. So I started writing when I was 21. My parents split up, and that was the thing that helped me through all of that. But then, sure, it's been phasey. Like, you don't tend to write as much when you're on top of the world, and then, like, I don't know, you go through a breakup or a pandemic or a whatever, and then now all my feelings are coming out again. So.
Have you ever found yourself almost purposely putting yourself in situations to get you in the state of mind to write?
Yes and no. Never anything.
I know it's going to go terrible with this guy. Let's do it anyway. I'm going to get a great song out of it.
Oh my God. What a great question. I'm not going to admit to it fully, but sure. Like, I'm sure I have pursued some kind of drama, knowing that the end result is gonna...
If it makes you feel better, I pursue drama all the time with zero intention of writing, just for the fun of it.
Just simply for the drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least you have the excuse.
I know people who do that, who do it deliberately, and it's kind of crazy to watch, and I don't think I'm quite as far in as that, but yeah, sure. I've explored avenues that I probably would have ignored otherwise,
All for the love of the craft.
Whatever.
Absolutely. So at what point in your career did you become a Gibson artist?
Well, I've been a fan of Gibson guitars since I bought my first guitar, like a million years ago. And It's probably been a couple of years that I sort of developed a relationship with them. Part of it started, well, in a personal level, it started because I just collect Gibson guitars. And then maybe in 2014 or something, I actually got the J200 pickguard tattooed on my forearm.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. That was nothing official, but that was just something special to me. I have a pretty wide collection of Gibsons, and then sort of developed a relationship with them. A lot from the people I know here in Austin, but too, I spent a lot of time in Bozeman, Montana, where one of the factories is, and so I've gotten to know a bunch of people up there, and you know, so it's a little bit unofficial, but I do have some a little
some
bit
sponsorship
of
from them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. I my coworker Phoenix over here, he's a Gibson artist as well. I know he got an acoustic guitar from them. Have they sent you anything of note that you enjoyed?
Well, I brought my my Sheryl Crow Country and Western with me, which I got over there, which I absolutely adore. And then I get a lot of Epiphones from them as well to use around girl guitar. Mm-hmm. So we have Epiphones that everybody plays over there from the Gibson folks. But yeah, probably my favorite is my J200 and my Sheryl Crow.
Yeah.
Country and Western.
I can imagine. So I know you spent some time in Nashville. You're centered in Austin now. What's your favorite place to be to create music?
The mountains.
The mountains?
Yeah. I live in Austin full time, but as we all know, summer around here is a complete soul suck. So with the flexibility that playing music allows me, I head north as soon as I can and spend as much time out of here in the summer as I can. So I've centered around Bozeman and Livingston, Montana most of the time. Very cool. Hang around up there, and that really does a lot for my creative part of my brain.
Absolutely. And you know, there's mountains everywhere. Is it Montana just because that's your spot?
There's something about it. You know, certain places just kind of reach out to you, and maybe it's because it's hard to get to. There's less people there. It is a big deal. There's something about it that just makes it even that much more special to me. I don't know if you spent time there, but it's ridiculously gorgeous.
I've heard. I really
all the mountains are pretty, but like, I don't know. There's something there that just
sticks with you.
Really good people too, and a lot of good music going on up there. So yeah, I just go up there and soak it all up as much as I can. It's special.
How long have you been in Austin for? Your whole life, or just?
No, I moved here in 2004, I believe.
Okay, and what's been your favorite part about being in Austin so far?
I love the musical community and how easy it is to get plugged in around here. It's just, you know, it's a very accepting thing. Like I said, I spent a good amount of time in Nashville, and there's a lot of good people out there too, but for my personality, something about Austin kind of grabbed me. I've never had trouble finding people to play with or work with or gigs to play, and it's just, I don't know, from the get-go there was something about it that just felt like this is where I wanted to be.
Is that what brought you to Austin in the first place, was the music scene? Yeah,
I went to college in San Marcos.
Oh, no kidding.
So it's sort of, again, accidental. I actually didn't really know what was going on in Austin. Went to school down there, and then kind of got turned on to what was happening here, and then it just was sort of natural. It just sort of bounced up here, started teaching, started playing, and I did a little stint in New York, but I just came right back.
Yeah.
Here I am.
We talk Austin up a lot, or we tend to talk Austin up a lot in these interviews. But you know, everywhere has its pros and cons. Has there been any kind of challenges you've had playing music in Austin?
Well, yeah. I'm sure this comes up in a lot of interviews. It's hard to make significant money here playing music. It's easy to find gigs. It's not always easy to sustain. Keep crowds coming out. You know, the money is obviously not the most appealing part to all of it.
Right.
So yeah, that's been tough. But the good stuff makes up for it in my mind.
Beats out the cons for sure.
Yeah, being able to fall back on teaching means that if gigs don't pan out for a little bit, I'm not, you know, that's not the only thing I'm depending on. So I've been able to balance it.
Did you see yourself becoming a teacher of any kind when you were younger?
Yeah.
Always kind of been drawn to showing people how to do something?
Yeah. That's a good question. I really always have. I come from a long line of teachers, more like public school teachers, but yeah, growing up, like I remember trying to teach my sister to read when she was like 2. You know, like anyone who would listen to me would sit them down. Yeah. Maybe I'm just bossy. I don't know, but there's something to me that's really appealing about communicating with someone, seeing that they don't understand, and having to find the right words. It's like a puzzle to find the right way to approach this until you watch the light bulb go off. Yeah. And I don't know how to describe it better than that, but like for my money, that's the most satisfying thing.
No, absolutely,
To find that way in. So.
I was the kind of kid at school that you saw the light bulb go off eventually a lot. So I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a cool way to put it. When you're teaching, did you try out different styles of teaching, or did you kind of just fall into one way instantly?
No, it's constant evolution. Teaching to me it changes as much as like our personalities or like your dynamic. When you talk to different people, you're constantly kind of adapting to find the most way. Yeah, our energies feed off of each other, and then we gotta like find the way to communicate best. And so and then over time, like I've gotten smarter as a musician and smarter as a teacher, so that's changed. But also the world has changed, and I've gone from teaching little kids to teaching adults, so that's changed things too. So to me, it's never been anything set in stone. It's just always going to kind of adapt and evolve. And I'll teach one person this, and then the next person walks in, and it's a whole nother thing, and I kind of like that. It suits my personality.
Absolutely.
Like ADD or whatever.
It seems that like most fields people find themselves in, it's pretty essential to be able to adapt to change. So it's cool that you're able to do that with teaching.
Well, it makes sense with being a musician or a creative of any type. Like no two gigs are the same. You're constantly on your toes.
Absolutely.
Just like adapting. It's just the name of the game.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Growing up, were there any teachers that stuck with you that left a lasting impression?
Oh, yeah. My music teacher specifically, I was actually homeschooled growing up. So I didn't have the normal amount of, school teachers that most people have, but my music teachers filled in those gaps. And I had a couple of different ones. One main violin teacher that stands out as a kid, and same with piano.
Yeah.
Made all the difference to me. And then as an adult, then in college, so... there's been a few of them. Yeah, there's quite a few as it's evolved. But no, I give them full credit for turning me on to this whole thing, the playing and the teaching.
Do you keep in contact with any of them still?
I do.
That's awesome.
Quite a few of them, actually. The evolution of social media has made it easier.
Much easier,
to kind of keep up with some of them. But, so a couple of them at A&M Commerce in East Texas, where I started out as a freshman, and then down at Southwest Texas, which is now Texas State, of course. Yeah. But, a handful of them. I regularly send messages and just say, hey, I used some weird thing you told me once popped up today. Thought you should know. It made all the difference.
Does that kind of inspire you as a teacher now to, you want to have those students that you leave a lasting impression on?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you think about that stuff in the day-to-day. Right. While you're just, trying to break down whatever is sort of immediately...
In front of you,
yeah. But, I think that's a pretty natural thing for any...
to want to have.
It's just human nature to want to leave an impression. And as musicians, we want to leave our music behind. And as a teacher, I guess that would be sort of the ultimate goal is, getting messages from students saying, hey, something you told me just got me out of a scrape here. And,
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's got to be super cool. Being a teacher, in my time, I've seen a couple of things being an entrepreneur in my time, there's a couple of things that I can see being a major challenge. For example, recently we had COVID, and before that there was the 2008 financial crash. Were there any times being an entrepreneur where you found major challenges and you thought this might not work out?
Sure. COVID is the perfect example. But I think as a musician, as any kind of creative, you're always on your toes a little bit, because as soon as finances take a dive in any large sense, the arts are the first thing that people scrap. So as a teacher, you're always kind of like, oh my God, is this boom going to last? But COVID obviously scared us all pretty good there in the beginning. I had never heard of Zoom. I had taught maybe 3 lessons on Skype ever. So my initial thought was, like everybody, that we're screwed. But then, it sunk in a little bit, and I decided to just suck it up. And I put the whole business online, and actually it ended up being a huge success. Right. A lot of people during that time were able to finally pick up hobbies and things they'd always wanted to do. There were a lot of people hitting bucket list stuff. There in the beginning, we did not know how long we were going to last, So people started doing things they always wanted to do, and guitar lessons got crazy popular. And because of being online, I was able to appeal to people all over the world, really. I have students from damn near every state now in Canada and Europe, and a lot of my former students who'd moved away from Austin, all of a sudden they could hop back into class. And so it ended up being like this huge positive. It was great. Financially, it was a good boost when all of my musician friends who relied solely on performing, they were all in deep trouble. And so, again, I was able to kind of bounce back and be pretty resilient. And, I'm lucky. I also have, massage therapist friends. I can't do that online, or like I say, the straight up performers. It just seemed like my little scenario. I got real lucky.
It worked out well for you. Yeah, there's always silver linings to things like that, and I'm glad it worked out for you. Absolutely. It's interesting because when you're in the room with someone, it's obviously different than when you're seeing them through a computer screen.
Big time.
How tough was it, if at all, to accommodate the difference of being in the room with them and then teaching them online?
As far as just transferring knowledge, it's not that bad. But there's like a magic to playing music in a room with people that can't be duplicated. We can basically all go through these same motions, but it's not the same. So as things began to loosen up with COVID and we were able to get back together in person, there was just like this thing that we had all taken for granted that we were able to get really excited about again. Just simply sitting across from somebody and making noise together. It's that's magic,
And you're pretty experienced playing shows. What's like the craziest thing you've ever seen on stage? Whether it's like a fight breaks out in the venue or...
Oh, sure. Tons of fights. The fights are the best, obviously. Everybody loves that. Because what people don't realize, you're going to come out and watch a band play, but maybe they don't think about the fact that like we're watching too. Like every show, venue I go to, there's a whole new scenario unfolding in front of me as well. So I'm sure I'm going to think of something awesome after we're done talking here. But for my money, it's just a good old fashioned fight. I love watching that go down. Yeah, miss that.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. When you're writing music, do you like to be like somewhere with a nice view? Do you like to be in a window or like a windowless room?
It makes zero difference to me.
Really?
When I write music, it's kind of like it's just going to happen. A lot of it happens when I'm driving. I do a lot of voice memo kind of stuff because I think, I don't know, something about long road trips gets the creative juices flowing. So I would say the bulk of it probably happens going down the road, talking into my phone. So maybe there's something about that. But no, I don't know. Sometimes I'm at girl guitar. Sometimes I'm on my couch. Sometimes I'm laying in bed. Sometimes I'm in a conversation with somebody and just have to like go outside. And, I've left shows that I've just got done playing because something hits me and I'm like out in the parking lot writing stuff down. And so, yeah, I'm a super sloppy writer in the sense that I don't have this regular thing. I don't have my special little writing desk or whatever. It's like an absolute free-for-all. Just whenever it happens, it happens.
I feel it's important to kind of do whatever works for you, though, too, right?
Yeah, it's true. And I had a songwriter buddy tell me one time, like, if you're going to do this, you got to embrace just being a weirdo. You got to be okay just leaving the party or just telling people to shut up for a minute while you do your thing. You kind of put it first. And fortunately, I don't have a real problem with feeling like a weirdo, so it's worked out okay.
It's way more fun than being normal.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be normal. That's boring.
Couldn't agree more.
I was listening to some of your music, and I was really, really... Of course, your guitar playing is outstanding, but I was really blown away by your voice. Did you ever take any vocal lessons?
I've taken some, yeah. I'm sort of making a weird face because I always feel like I'm just really shooting in the dark when it comes to singing. Right. I have a solid ear. I'm in tune most of the time, but I listen to these really great singers, and I'm just like, that's some world I don't really understand. I kind of just open my mouth and whatever comes out, comes out. So if somebody enjoys listening to it, that's a bonus. And thank you for the compliment.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was great. And I know because I'm god-awful at singing whenever I'm in the shower. It's a blessing I don't have roommates that have to listen to it. Do you remember your first time singing in front of a crowd of people? And do you remember if you had any kind of nerves or if you felt...
Oh, yeah. Well, I grew up singing in church.
Okay.
So, like, as a kid, I would do that sometimes. I'm sure it was never all that great. My mom's a piano player, though, so there were definitely little church solos where mom's playing and I'm singing some, hymn or something. So there was that, but it wasn't like singing with my guitar and doing that whole thing. Started around, in college in San Marcos, and I would go to open mics and I would be totally nervous, have no idea what I was doing. But I had fun with it, and there was a lot of alcohol involved, so that's how I just
always helps.
I mean,
Always helps.
when you're 21 in San Marcos, Texas.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's just it's not really my fault. It's
Absolutely.
just what happens.
It's like the one thing I have a kind of a hard time understanding is if I get nervous enough, my voice, you can hear it in my voice. It'll be shaky. Have you ever dealt with that where you're trying to sing and your voice is...
Oh my God, yeah. It probably happened in a little bit when we film me playing. I still get nervous when I play, but it's changed from this thing that feels out of control to something that feels like it can be channeled into some good energy. You know?
Right.
In my opinion, the worst gigs are when I'm not nervous. Like if I'm bored, it's boring. You know, I'm like not doing a good job. So I feel like I've learned a little bit about how to channel it. My voice is definitely cracked and scratched and croaked and just not come out. If you like anything embarrassing you can think of, I've done that publicly, loudly into a microphone. So,
oh man, have you found anything that you talked about channeling it, of course, but have you found any kind of like maybe breathing techniques or anything that kind of helps you get through those?
Yeah. Taking voice lessons, which I've done a decent amount, has helped with some of that. And I do deal with a lot of stuff with breathing, but also one of the things about public embarrassment that comes with gigging sometimes is that I've been pleasantly surprised to find out you can embarrass yourself and nothing bad happens. So kind of just getting comfortable with that feeling has been the biggest part of it. Like, that's embarrassing. I feel like I want to die for a quick second, but I've also done the same thing a million times and most people don't even notice. And so I have a lot of experience being embarrassed and it rolls off.
Yeah, and it kind of it's probably going to happen again, and you just got to deal with it.
Any minute.
Point. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's awesome. That's super cool. I think now we'll probably jump to some quick questions. Basically, I'll ask you this or that kind of style questions, and just give me the quickest answer you can come up with.
This ought to be good.
Yeah, just pick your brain a little bit. Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Right, I saw that one coming.
And the beach, but mountains first.
Gotcha. Do you ever go snowboarding or snow skiing?
Yeah.
Snowboarding or snow skiing?
Skiing.
Skiing?
Yeah.
Hot weather, cold weather?
Cold, hands down. I don't know why I live in Austin.
Electric or acoustic?
I mean, what day is it? What mood am I in? I don't know. 50-50.
Gotcha. It's a trick question here. Martin or Gibson?
Gibson.
Pass the test on that one. Got to keep them happy. Let's see. Big venue or small venue?
I like them kind of small. Gotcha. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I do the songwriter thing, so like an intimate crowd is what it's all about,
Absolutely. Bar or club as far as hanging out?
Bar. Well, I mean, it depends, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably bar, though. I'm more of a bar fly than a singster.
Right. There you go. Austin or Nashville?
Austin.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that face.
Yes. Love it. Banjo or ukulele?
Banjo.
Ukulele or piano?
Piano.
Gotcha.
Nothing against the ukulele.
She's trying real hard.
Yeah, right.
Ukulele or vocals?
You're like ukulele or trumpet. Okay.
Ukulele
for sure.
So string instruments above all?
I think so, yeah. Everything I play some drums, I play some harmonica, but mainly, just strings.
Gotcha. Totally. Tennis shoes or boots?
That's a good one. I mean, what kind of boots? So, what day is it? What mood am I in? I'm a good boots.
Boots? There you go. Mercedes or Lexus?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I've probably never been in
neither one.
I don't know.
Screw them both.
I mean, I drove like a 1973 Ford pickup truck, so like, I don't know.
So truck or car? You go truck?
Yeah, truck.
Gotcha.
Sure.
Would you rather be playing an acoustic in front of a small group of people or a big group with an amp?
Both. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I do a lot more of the small acoustic kind of stuff these days. So
Gotcha.
yeah, but there's value in both. I also like to get super freaking loud and rowdy sometimes too. So
awesome. Night in or night out?
I'm kind of a homebody these days. Yeah, I don't know. I like them both, but yeah, these days, especially with this freaking pandemic, unless I'm playing a gig or something.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time with books and.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's totally not the rock and roll answer I wanted to give. Drugs. I mean drugs.
I mean, you did say play loud and get rowdy.
So. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that works.
I didn't mention my cats or anything like that. So, yeah.
Cats or dogs?
Just say my cats.
There you go. A little bit less maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a dog and I can't leave her at home ever. She just freaks out.
I think I'd be a bad dog mom. I love them, but yeah, my cats are badasses anyways. So.
Yeah, good enough for you. Let's see here. You're building a house. You want carpet or hardwood floors?
Hardwood, all the way.
There you go. Easier to clean?
Yeah, just look cooler.
Yeah, awesome. Would you rather have a group of friends that are into the arts or a group of friends that are into interests that you haven't explored yet?
I think arts.
Surround yourself
just given my experience, that's all I surround myself with, it seems like. So yeah.
Hard shell or gig bag?
It depends on what I'm doing, I guess. I'm lazy, so the gig bag is handy, but I've also broken some guitars touring that way, so
Steel string or nylon?
Steel.
Okay. Tacos or pizza?
Pizza.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all the way.
Ask about like some of the guitars that you broke, like something, like any stories behind
Are there any major guitars you broke that kind of bummed you out?
I was playing an outdoor gig in Dripping Springs, and it just like a gust of wind knocked my J200, just snapped the headstock right off of it.
Jeez.
So I got it fixed, which was great, but then I toured with it in a gig bag. And I took it up north. I went to Montana, and the climate and the altitude and dryness and all that stuff, it just started to lift off again. So I ended up leaving it with a luthier in Livingston, Montana, who's an old guitar dude from Grooms in Nashville. So I completely trusted him because I knew that's a big deal. But I ended up having to leave it in Montana after coming home from this tour, and then picking it up on a whole separate road trip.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, that one little break ended up costing me probably $1,200 all said and done, plus a separate trip up to Montana because I didn't want to ship the thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Right after it got fixed.
Yeah,
what was the reunion like with that guitar? Were you just stoked to have it back?
Totally. I mean, I love that thing, and it's so weird to just leave it. I mean, I trust the dude and everything, but it still feels really weird to just, I'm going to leave it here with you. I'll see it whenever. I don't know. I'm just going to,
absolutely
go back across the country without my guitar.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, man, that was a tough one. And he did tell me to stop being lazy and use a real case. So, I guess I needed to hear that.
We saw him here at the store, by the way. just quick shout out. Well, Mandy, this has been awesome. I really, really appreciate your time, and I know you've been super helpful here at South Austin Music with the lessons, and we've really enjoyed having you here. So thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. I tell my students all the time there's a special place in heaven or whatever for people who shop local when it comes to guitar stores, and so I send people here a lot, and we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, yeah. You've been a blessing to us. So
cool.
So seriously, thank you. And I think if you're willing, we'd love to hear some of your music.
Sure. Why not?
Awesome, let's do it.
My first cool guitar was a 67 Gibson J45, and I will always have a soft spot, I think, for vintage J45s. They are about as cool as it gets. So when I saw this one, of course, it stood out to me. I know how dorky it sounds to say this, but I see all of this as just like stories, and I just want to be part of stories. And so a good, worn-out, well-loved guitar like this is very inspiring to me, so like most people. And so that's the one I grabbed at. And then after picking it up and playing on it a minute, I found out this thing's going to sell for $10,000, and now it's just obviously I want to play a $10,000 guitar. So here's a tune I recorded several years ago. It's called Pedal Upon Metal. takes hours, it takes miles, it takes such a long while to clear the smoke from my eyes. It comes from the fire of the funeral pyre. Each time another love dies. And if my arms could fix this, well, you know I'd hit the gas. There's no glory in a heart made of stone. If only pedal upon metal could erase the past. But I'm still such a damn long way from home. So where are you tonight? Besides out of my sight, a sight you say you'll never go back in. So how far have we fell? Is it all shot to hell? Is it too late to start over again? And if my arms could fix this, well, you know I'd hit the gas. There's no glory in a heart made of stone. If only pedal upon metal could erase the past. But I'm still such a damn long way from home. And in the early morning air, my mind takes me to where we once held each other so close. And in the new day's dawn, it's clear that all along, well, you're the one that I love the most. And if my arms could fix this, well, you know I'd hit the gas. There's no glory in a heart made of stone. If only pedal upon metal could erase the past. But I'm still such a damn long way from home. If only pedal upon